Hey everybody, how's it going? It is Matt and it is Terrifying Tuesday. Yes, folks, I hope each and every one of you are having a great morning, evening, dawn, day, or dusk. I hope that you guys like, share, and subscribe. And please do look in the description box for more information on the daily film, such as your brief synopsis, your starring cast, your director, runtime of the cut I am watching, along with if there's an MPAA rating on there, which most times there is not. What else do we got? Some trivia if there's anything worthwhile of mentioning, and then of course a link for either a trailer or a scene in the movie. Now today's is a weird one. I couldn't find a trailer or a link for a good scene or anything like that. So I had to do a Arrow video story link instead, which gives you a great idea of what you're looking at with the film and everything like that. So don't don't let that make you shy away from going and checking out the link on that, because it is a very good presentation. I'm not gonna lie. Alright, now that I got all that out of the way, let's move on to the film of the day. And now, this one came out back in 1976 and is none other than Island of Death, aka Devils in Mykonos, aka, Cruel Passion, aka, I forget. There's like 7 or 8 different titles that this movie had that it ran under at one point. Nico Mastorakis, or I think it's Mastorakis, stated that Devils in Mykonos was the original working title for it, so he likes it under that title. I prefer Island of Death, but I don't mind that Island of Devils in Mykonos title. There we go. Gee, many crickets, Matt. You were stumbling like a drunk person there. Now this is right here, folks. This is the Arrow video release. I don't have that old DVD that they released. This is a Blu-ray, pressed issue, Blu-ray, and DVD. You get a nice little booklet in here that gives you. Whoa, let's get out of there, folks. A little bit of information in there on the film itself. It does also have a reversible artwork, and there you go. This is the newly commissioned artwork that they did. I just happen to like the old artwork because that's what I most remember it being when I was growing up or as a teenager when I first finally got to see this movie. I didn't know anything about it till I was probably like 16 or 17 years old. I saw it when I was like 18, 19, I think. It took me a little bit to finally track down a copy to see. It was an old VHS, so the quality would have been a little piss poor. I never got the new DVD or that DVD that came out in '02, but I know somebody who did, and I guess that was a really good transfer for DVD quality. Now this one, I will say, is an absolute stunning presentation. Arrow really knocked it out of the park with this one. As far as the special features they put on there, you got a little featurette with Stephen Thrower where he talks about it and all of his various trivia and things that the man knows about film. The guy is like the Rain Man of film. No, I wouldn't say that. The guy is he's just insanely smart, and it's just crazy, and the guy knows so much. It's kind of inspiring in ways. I'm not gonna lie. I hope I get to know film as much as that guy does. But he goes over the films of Nico Mastorakis, and then there is an interview with him on there. There is a location revisiting of the locations of where Island of Death was made. There was there's a featurette on how the music was made and things like that. There's a little trailer gallery for the other Mastorakis films, which Arrow did release Zero Boys and Hired to Kill, by the way, which are both absolutely fun. I would say I like Nico Mastorakis films. I've only seen the three, but everything I've seen has been gold. You know, this one is by far my favorite out of everything that he's done. Now, this one, like I said, this came out back in 1976. The runtime of the cut I am watching runs at an hour and 46 minutes. I imagine that this one has had lots and lots and lots and lots of cuts along the way. As a matter of fact, I know that there was two different cuts for sure, because Nico actually talks about it himself during the interview that he has in here, which is a very lengthy interview. It's like 20, 23, 24, 25 minutes, something like that. It's a very lengthy interview, and it is a very good, extensive interview. I'm not going to lie. Everything they did in the special features for this is just, crushing. So it is a complete uncut version. So do keep that in mind. This one stars Robert Belling, which sad note, I did not know this until I watched the special features, because when I first got this, I was in a funk and I wasn't going through special features as much, and I had only grazed over it, so I didn't really watch a whole lot of it. But sad note was that he committed suicide. Robert Behling committed suicide a couple years after this film, I guess in a very gruesome fashion. I don't know. I don't really care to know, because it's kind of a sad ordeal. But either way, the guy turned in a top-notch performance in here as Christopher. I really like his character. He's a freaking hypocrite, you know. He's a Jesus freak that is hypocritical of every single thing he does. You know, everything he says is not what he does. And we got Jane Lyle in here playing Celia. She's a very quiet, timid character. She's very almost angelic in ways, except for she's a giant slut. Yeah, she definitely she sleeps around. She has quite the I guess some of the quite the sexual escapades during this film, along with Christopher. They both they're portraying as a married couple. You think they're a married couple all the way through the film, and then you do get a nice little turn of the what do they call that, turn of the key, a little how do you do, a little middle finger at the very end that gives you a more of an idea of what kind of a couple they are, and it gives you a deeper dive into it. It's quite shocking, especially for its time. There wasn't a lot of movies like this that were out there, and Nico flat out said he was trying to make an extremely perverse, disturbing, horrific movie, and he set out and did that. This isn't a movie, this is a film. Let's just face it, folks, this is a film. He set out to make a disturbing film after watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's what he himself even says. After watching that, which this has no kind of inspiration as far as visually style, technique, any of that. The inspiration was drawn by the fact that you could do something as perverse and dark as Chainsaw Massacre, that you could do it on he could replicate something and push the boundaries even further. One of those kind of things. I think it's kind of weird to think that, but if that's how he drew his inspiration, you know, I can't say that that's wrong, because it did come from his own mouth in this. So keep that in mind. And then we got Jessica Dublin in here. She plays she calls herself middle-aged, and I'm guessing she's in her upper 50s, maybe 60s. She is definitely not a young debutante anymore. She's become quite the cougar for her time. She is going after Christopher. She thinks he is the bee's knees and wants to hook up with him. A very interesting scene, which involves both of them and Christopher and some water sports going on. And she gets into it, and it ends with her getting beat the hell up. And at a couple points, you see her punch her ass, and I die laughing when he punches her right in the ass, or the hip. I guess it's more of the hip, but it looks like he like slapped the ass and hit the hip at the same time. It was kind of funny, but that scene ends in a very, very interesting way where somebody loses their head. In other words, definitely not Christopher Celia. It is definitely our middle-aged woman who's trying to pass off as 45. You know, first she says 40, and then she says 45, and then it's like no, 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 no. But either way, this couple, you're quickly met with, or you quickly at the very beginning of the movie, you get a good visual, I guess, description of what kind of people both Celia and Christopher are. It starts off with them like walking down the street like a nice little couple, blah 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 blah, and they go inside the phone booth and they start to have sex. While they're in there boning, they decide that they're going to call Christopher's mother in London, and while they're on the phone, they were going to continue banging. One of those things like that is so wrong and messed up. So you get a very good idea of how depraved and how deviant these guys are. You know, speaking of deviants, they would have been thrown into the camp in Turkey shoot if they lived in 1996 or escaped 2000. Fun. But either way, you find out what kind of a couple they are, and they go one by one, seducing people and murdering them in the process after they're done seducing them. And in the whole while, they are Christopher is judging them in a very religious fashion, like, oh, you're a whore, he's a pervert bastard, things like that. He even drops the dreaded N bomb on one of the characters, who is a police detective, Gerard something. I forget what his last name was, but he is a detective that comes from London to go find, because he is after Celia and Christopher because they are murderers, which you obviously know that, blah blah blah, because you get to see them murder a poor painter pretty soon into the movie. He has one of the most weirdest, awkward deaths. He gets crucified, and then a bunch of paint dumped down his throat hole. It's kind of weird, man. Throat hole. I know it's his mouth, and it went down into his throat. I'm just being silly, but either way, it throws it down his throat. He dies from that. I imagine it would get you extremely sick and possibly kill you for sure, because it would be pure poison. But you see them torture and kill this guy right away, or not right away, but within the first like 15 minutes of the film. Not gonna lie, this one is a a slow burn. It is a little slower. Don't go in it thinking you're gonna get an action-packed powerhouse of a film that's relentless. It is very meticulous at what it does. It's very calculated, cold and calculated. It picks its moments to pluck you in the eye and essentially pull you into the film as a willing participant, not just a film viewer yourself, because a lot of it is filmed through the the lens, the camera lens of Christopher, because Christopher is a photographer and a writer. So because he is photographing each and every one of these murders and crimes, along with Celia, she is as well, which is just crazy. Like it's very, very, they're deviants. I'm not gonna lie, they're debaucherous, bad people. But he you see it through the lens of his camera, and then there's also what else is it? You can't, as Stephen Thrower points it out, it's hard to distinguish when you're looking through the eyes of Christopher and Celia or the camera, which is how it pulls you in as a willing participant in ways. And I 100% agree with him, and feel like he hit the nail right on the head with that one. The guy's a genius. But they eventually that police detective from London finds out that they're on this island. They kill him. Blah 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 blah. They eventually run into these other men that beat the hell out of Cecilia and attempt to rape her. And in turn, Christopher gets there in time and kills both of them. But after that, you have a nice little, fun little short, little cameo by Nico himself, playing a writer who is there writing about tourism, people, the tourists itself, and crime. So he's definitely he's writing a darker style book. So you expect him to know a little more of, like, he's more kind of like a police detective in ways, because he definitely is on the trail of something and he knows it. It's Celia and Christopher he's on the trails of. So eventually, they have to run away, flee the island, or flee the town of Mykonos, and they end up in the countryside. Where, if you see this fella here on the cover, he's a kind of a primitive esque kind of Greeksman, who is very simple, doesn't have anybody live with him, so there's a huge language barrier there. He doesn't speak the English. As a matter of fact, you don't hear him talk at all. You only hear him make grunts and groans and a laugh. That's all you really, and you hear him fart at one point. But that's essentially all he does. But he is the final person that really ties the end of the story, that the story of Christopher and Celia, with a perfect bow tie, with a perfect knot and bow tie at the very end. It is very cinematic, very well done. Um, as far as like anything, I would rate this thing on a technical side. This thing's probably a 4 out of 5. It is top notch acting for the most. What's her face? Jane Lyle, Celia's character, is a little dry in her performance, but I can look past that. And then there's a couple flamboyant characters that you kind of they're overacting, in my opinion. This gay couple, they made them extremely flamboyant and over the top stereotype. I was just like, what is this? But that those are the those two performances between those three people are my only real complaints about the whole movie. All in all, it works extremely well. The editing is on point. You never lose momentum in the movie. It's got a nice steady chug-a-lug. It slows down in places, and then it kind of picks up here and there throughout it. It's not a very fast ride. Expect a scenic route to go. All right. Now, as far as an entertainment side goes, this thing's probably a 4 out of 5. This is like a 7 or an 8 out of 10 kind of movie. This is my One of my go-tos I watch it at least once a year. I don't know why. There's just something about it. I like it from the soundtrack all the way down to the acting to just everything. The story is really interesting, and it can really pull you in. It reels you in very, very, very easily, in my opinion. Mateo. All right, guys. I will see you tomorrow. I got a fun little Turkey Day slasher for you. Which, if you guys, any of you know anything about Thanksgiving slashers, you know right away what it's going to be. I'm not really hiding the fact of it, but tomorrow will be my last review of the week. Just to let you know, Thursday and Friday I will not be here. Just another FYI. All right, guys. Love your faces.